Hello everyone, it's Bernina Jeff in Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm not an employee of Bernina of America. I am a dealer in Colorado, and I want to show you some techniques to get around nuisance errors that pop up on the screen so you can keep on sewing. You don't have to bring your machine in every time something pops up. So first off, what I've been seeing lately is when you're sewing along, so let's go ahead and look into here. I'm going to put a foot on. I have these new little foot holders. So I'm going to put a foot on. Let's put the foot up. And we're going to sew along. And I have certain things turned on and off. So if I don't have any thread in the needle, it's going to come up and say there is a upper thread error. Or if I don't have any thread in the bobbin, or the bobbin's not full, it's going to come up to bobbin error. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. So I'm just going to push on and it's going to start sewing, and after a certain number of stitches, the machine gives us an error message. So this error message is obviously the bobbin is out of thread. And you open up the bobbin and it's totally full of thread. Well, what do? There's something the matter right down here in this sensor box. So what you want to do is you want to clean all the little sensor areas. There's little bug eyes or little frog eyes in there. So you take one of my Q-tips or one of the little micro cleaning swabs and clean out all those errors and all those little light things and try it again. If that doesn't fix it, then we're going to show you later how to turn off this sensor system so you can continue to sew. So now let's go ahead and get rid of that. You have to get rid of the X before you can start sewing again. So I'm going to show you right now how to turn the bobbin sensor off. So we're going to come up into our soft keys over here. So there's home and there's this gear. So we're going to touch the two gears. That's our settings. And there's an eyeball. This eyeball represents the sensors. And there's an upper sensor and a lower sensor. So I'm going to turn off the lower sensor and see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and start sewing again. I'm going to raise the presser foot and get some more space so there's no thread in the bobbin. So it's sewing along, and as long as there's pressure on the upper thread, it's going to think there's upper thread. So see, we just turned off the bobbin sensor so that we got rid of that nuisance error. And if your bobbin is got all the mirrors still are on intact on your bobbin and they're not scratched off, then that bobbin's still good. So I'm going to raise my foot, raise the needle, and I am actually going to take the thread out of the machine. And I do that by pulling it. I cut it on top, take my protector off. I cut it on top and pull it through the needle. That's how you should remove the thread from the upper thread area. And now, what's going to happen when I start sewing? It's going to start sewing a few stitches, and it should tell me there's no upper thread. So that's its system of telling you there's no upper thread. It's actually a flag that goes up and down inside of here. And that can get clogged up with debris and dust, or it can just fail. So if this is happening and you know your stitch formation is good, we're going to close that error and go into settings, and we're going to touch that eyeball again, and we're going to turn off the upper thread sensor and close that up, and let's see what happens. We can sew all day now and it won't stop. Let's say you just want to sew on paper and make holes. Some people do that with a vellum template material. So now I can sew all day and the machine doesn't care if there's thread or anything in it. Now, would I continue to sew like this forever? No. I would take it into a dealer and tell them that my sensors are going off, that I don't have thread in the top or the bobbin, and have them check out those sensors and bring in the thread you're using, bring in the project and whatever, so they can duplicate what's going on. You know, it's kind of like your car. You bring it in because the brakes are squeaking, and you bring it in and they never squeak again for the technician. As soon as you bring it home, they squeak. So you want to bring in the same thing that you're working on so the technician can duplicate the problem. So I'm trying to get you past the nuisance messages so you can continue sewing. So this is Bernina Jeff, and you can check out my Shopify store. I have some really cool gadgets in here. This is a little oil holder, so when you oil your machine and put it right back there, a tweezers holder and foot holder, the plate holder. My gal who does my shipping loves that plate holder. And you can purchase these little gadgets at my Shopify, and that is bernina-jeff.myshopify.com. You can always call the shop. We'd love to talk with you. That's 970-256-1293. Or you can email me. I answer all my own emails. That's jpvlefty@aol.com. So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe. Oh, she reminded me. This is an Orvis soap, and it's a paste soap that is good for one washing. I have 42 of these that I'm going to give away for the first 42 orders after this video shows, and it's a $4.99 value, and it's a quilt soap. And you don't have to put it in quilt. You can put it into any gentle type washing. So I will include one of these as a free gift of any order over $50 from this video on. Thank you very much.